we're just not gonna use a tarot card this time and see how that goes. Because I didn't grab one, and I don't feel like getting up to grab one. It's Alirien, and today we are starting our tarot readings for the season of Yule for 2024. Blessed Yule, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Saturnalia, Happy Festivus, or whatever else you may celebrate during this time of year. I should also wish a Happy New Year, as Yuletide marks the end and beginning of the wheel of the year. And of course, the Gregorian New Year is at the end of December. Now is the time to take final stock. I think I use that phrase a lot, but it's now that we make our last looks at the year that has passed. Forgive ourselves for the things we did not accomplish or that we're not proud of. To be proud of the things we did accomplish and that we do like, and to pave the way in terms of manifestations, resolutions, for what we wish to accomplish in the year to come. As with all of these tarot videos, we will be following my usual format of 3 cards from a Waite Smith style tarot, a traditional style tarot, and 1 card from an oracle style deck. In this case, we are using the Nightmare Before Christmas tarot by Minerva Siegel and Abigail Larson, and the Halloween Oracle from Stacy DeMarco. And based on I found conflicting accounts. Some astrologers say that Capricorn season begins today on the 21st. Some say it begins tomorrow on the 22nd. I presumed it started today on the 21st, so we are going to start with Capricorn and end with Sagittarius for these readings. And before we begin, I do want to remind everyone, first of all, to take what resonates. If the reading feels like it's for you, then it's for you, in spite of everything else. Second of all, I do offer personal tarot readings. If you want more specific insight into your own life, you can book them through my website, aliriencosplay.com. It is linked in the Linktree portal in the description. For those curious, I am drinking an apple pie chai from a Republic of Tea out of my "this actually is my first rodeo" mug. And lastly, if you enjoy the video today, make sure you click subscribe and ring your notification bell to turn on all notifications so you never miss a video. We are making the steady march up to 500 subs so that I can finally monetize and have channel memberships, and I would love if you would be part of that adventure. All of that said, housekeeping out of the way, let's shuffle and begin with our Capricorn Yule reading. Capricorn, you have pulled for Yule the inverted 9 of Presents, the inverted 10 of Potions, the inverted 5 of Needles, the 4 of Presents, and Dawn. Capricorn, you have been experiencing obstacles and setbacks. I think this is a fairly widespread thing within your life, because we have the inverted 9 of Pentacles, or 9 of Presents, as your main card, as your bottom of the deck, right? So your focus has been setbacks, mistakes, being obsessed with working toward whatever your current goal is. It feels very much like it's a physical security thing that is very tied to something emotional and something with a relationship in some way, something very personal. The inverted 10 of Potions is part of what tells me this. There is some sort of wound, some sort of emotional wound or some falling out in a relationship that hasn't quite been addressed. This has perhaps been lingering in your mind and causing you to put more energy than is necessary into really fighting to make whatever this is as perfect as possible. The inverted 5 of Needles indicates a desire to forgive, to resolve whatever this wound is and move on. And I think that perhaps is what needs to happen now, is letting yourself take the time to stop working and face whatever this is, whatever this wound is, whatever these setbacks are. Face it head on. Let yourself feel all of the feelings involved with it. Resolve it how it needs to be resolved, whether that's a conversation with someone to explain how you feel and listen to how they feel and come to a resolution, or whether that's simply having a conversation with yourself and going, well, here's how I feel about it. Here's how this is affecting me negatively. What can I learn from this so that I can let go of it and move forward better? All that said, the Four of Presents is the card of conservation. It's a card of security. It's being smart with the resources you do have. And I think that's one of the things that is being urged here. This situation needs to be resolved, whatever this wound, whatever this lingering resentment perhaps. You need to face it, you need to address it, you need to resolve it. And in doing so, you need to look at how you've been handling this physical aspect, this preparation of home, this amount of energy you've been putting into your work toward whatever goal you have, and realize that you've perhaps been threatening to burn yourself out. I think you perhaps need to pull back. You need to give yourself time to rest. You need to let yourself take breaks to eat, to shower, to take care of yourself physically. And you need to make sure that you're being smart with your finances as well. Don't overspend, but don't hold back when it's unnecessary. Finding balance physically. You are, as long as you address the situation, however, on the brink of better times. Because your oracle of the dawn is the light after the darkness. It's the reminder that in spite of the setbacks and the obstacles you've been faced with, however personally caused they may be, they're not the end of things. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. There is a dawn after the dark. There's a spring after the winter. You are not stuck in this situation you don't like. Take the steps that you know you can take to improve things, and once you've done everything you can, have faith and hope that the universe will respond and do the rest for you. Aquarius, you have drawn for Yule the Three of Needles, the Knight of Candles, the Devil, the inverted Page of Candles, and the Oracle card Joy. Aquarius, you've been dealing with some sort of grief. I get the sense that this grief is perhaps self-imposed, similar to some of the setbacks and obstacles that Capricorn was dealing with. Your own self-doubt and how you are feeling about yourself, thinking about yourself, speaking out loud about yourself in response to some sort of thing that didn't go right has been actually the bulk of your trouble lately, but you haven't quite grasped that. Or even if you do, you haven't quite addressed it. The Three of Needles is this grief. It's often a heartbreak or a loss of some kind, but I'm getting very, very heavily that it's simply a grief. The Knight of Candles is a severe juxtaposition to this, right? It actually was insistent that it come out of the deck before I even shuffled the rest. It is a fearlessness. It's a passionate drive forward. I think this is one thing that will help you. Aquarius needs to find or remind themselves of their motivation, their reason for getting out of bed in the morning and doing all of the hard things that they would rather not do. What are you fighting for? The Knights also are fast movers, and I believe that if you can embody some of the energy of that Knight of Wands, action, adventure, fearlessness, that things will start moving a little faster and better. You are meant to remind yourself why you act the way you do, why you do the things you do, even if you don't want to do them or don't like doing them. What are you fighting for? Be fearless enough to keep fighting for that and keep that reason in your focus. But also try to look at life a bit more like it's an adventure. Find all the ways that you can have fun in spite of doing the nitty-gritty, boring 9-to-5 day job you're probably working at. The Devil is tied into this grief. It's telling me why you're feeling grief. Often the Devil is dependency or addiction. In this case, I think the word obsession is perhaps more apt. There's something in your life that isn't going the way you want it to, and you're so heavily focused on what isn't working that's why you're so stuck in these feelings of grief. You are grieving what you do not have. Not necessarily what you lost, what you once had and now no longer have. It's simply what you do not have. what you cannot give to whoever this reason is. You're so heavily focused on that it's caused these blinders that are making everything else not quite work. So we need to recognize, what is this obsession that I've gotten so tunnel visioned over? And how can I loosen and widen my gaze again? It's remembering the reason you're fighting, not the goal of the fight, but the reason you started the fight in the first place. The inverted Page of Candles goes hand in hand with the Devil card. It's a lack of direction, it's negativity, it's feeling stuck. You're obsessed over what isn't working and feeling stuck because it's not working, and you've lost your direction, you've lost your motivation and your drive, hence the grief. The Knight of Candles is your answer. Make life an adventure again. Let yourself have a break too, honestly. A vacation is in order. You're probably already planning one and just trying to muddle through until you get there. Try to make life a bit more of an adventure leading up to whatever this escape is going to be. The Joy card also goes hand in hand with this. Rejoicing in the present. The Joy card is all about trying not to keep looking backward and regretting all the things that haven't gone the way you wanted or needed. Try not to look too far forward either. Your focus needs to be on now and finding as much as you can to be proud of and happy about in each moment as you live it, because you cannot drive by constantly staring in your rearview mirror. You can't constantly stare at the cars on either side of you. You need to be aware of what's in front of you at each moment and be aware of the cargo or passengers that you are in charge of. Hold on to your reason and all of the good things about your life right now, and I promise you things will improve once your outlook does. Pisces, you have drawn the inverted Four of Potions, the Ten of Candles, the Seven of Potions, the inverted King of Candles. And your oracle is the Skull of Flowers. Pisces has reached the end of some sort of journey, whatever that may be. However well the journey went does not matter. You've reached the end of something, and part of what tells me this is the 10 card combined with the Skull of Flowers. You have achieved something. You've accomplished something. The inverted Four of Potions being your main focus, though, is warning there was some boredom that came about here. The journey lasted a very long time. You were kind of on the brink of becoming apathetic to it and losing interest and walking away. You didn't, but it's kind of been lingering as you've reached toward this end. And maybe the journey isn't over, but you're very, very close to the end of it. Maybe this is a milestone in a longer journey. Maybe you're not quite at the end. Whatever that is, the Four of Potions is telling me you avoided allowing yourself to be convinced that it wasn't worth it anymore and just walking away just because it was taking a long time or it got difficult here and there. You recognized that, no, I still want to do this in spite of all of the trouble it has given me and that I've given myself as part of it. With this being a 10 and having reached this milestone or this ending, there comes the time to think about what is next and start looking forward to what's beyond. Don't do it so much that you forget to finish what you're currently doing, but you do need to start planning what is next, start thinking about and making those choices and letting yourself get excited for the next journey. With that, we bear in mind, however, the Seven of Cups and the inverted King of Candles. These two are reminding you, and the Skull of Flowers as well, which I'll get to in a moment, to not let yourself forget all of the lessons you learned in the process of this journey and what accomplishment you've already worked toward. The Seven of Potions indicates you have a lot of options and a lot of things you're interested in doing next. And you need to really fully evaluate all, I need to not scratch at that, evaluate all of the options really thoroughly before you pick what the next thing is going to be, where your focus will fall. Especially be wary of anything that seems too good to be true, right? Because if it sounds too good to be true, probably is. Inverted King of Candles similarly wants you to be wary of being over impulsive, and more so, don't set your standards and expectations for yourself too high. Because I get the sense that part of what led to this Four of Potions situation, you set your standards for yourself higher than you should have, and in not reaching those standards, you disappointed yourself, or in a desperate bid to reach those standards, you almost hurt yourself and caused yourself a lot more harm. The Skull of Flowers is a phoenix energy that I think is meant to help in this next journey. In coming toward this accomplishment, there are things that fell to the wayside or things that did not work out. There are failures or mistakes that you made, that you had. And rather than lingering on the disappointment of these things not working, you are meant to pick up what you do have and what did work and run with it. Learn all the lessons that you learned, both from what did work and what didn't in this journey that is nearing its end, and apply all of it forward into the next project so you can be stronger, smarter, faster, better. Rise from the ashes into this new journey, knowing full well that it will be better than the last. And that's not to say the last one wasn't good, but don't let yourself lose momentum with this ending. You are meant to continue propelling forward into the next endeavor. Aries, you have drawn for Yule the Wheel of Fortune, the inverted King of Presents, the inverted Magician, the inverted Ten of Needles, the Ten of Potions, and Jack-o'-lantern as your oracle card. You're gonna see a serious turn in luck in this season, Aries. The Wheel of Fortune serves to let you know of this good luck, but it also reminds you that fortune always changes. 1 minute things are going well, the next they're not. The next minute they'll be going well again. The wheel is always turning. If things have been bad, they will not be bad forever. And keep in mind while things are good, that at some point things will go badly, and you simply need to be prepared for it, without obsessing over whether or not you're prepared for it. The inverted King of Presents does indicate some sort of overindulgence in some way. Perhaps you have not been frugal enough with your resources and spending them wisely. The inverted Magician shows me that you're out of touch. There's I think a self-doubt that's been creeping in. But the inverted Ten of Needles suggests a rejuvenation. Things are going to flip. This is the juxtaposition. You've been out of touch, you've been doubting yourself, you've been acting and thinking and speaking in ways that aren't healthy and sort of perpetuating your own poor luck. But and perhaps it's this reading that causes the wheel to turn. Something will occur that reignites you and that helps you see that things aren't as bad as they seemed, and you're actually a lot better off. And in realizing this, you're gonna run with it, Aries. As I said, the inverted Ten of Needles is rejuvenation. The Ten of Potions is contentment. They're both fulfillments. And being that they're both tens, plus we have a king. No, actually, we have the number 10 3 times, because the Wheel of Fortune is the 10th card of the Major Arcana. Look into the meaning of the number 10 and watch for it popping up around you. Ones, zeros, the number 10, and ones more so because the Magician is card number 1 of the Major Arcana. There is a completion and a beginning of cycles here. You are finishing off a period of bad luck and bad esteem following from that. Low esteem, I should say. You're gonna realize that you're in a much better position than you realized, than you thought, and this is going to invigorate you so well for the new year. And along with that, and this is kind of funny too, you've pulled the Jack-o'-lantern, which is a card of protection. It lets you know that your spirit guides, whatever higher power you believe in, your ancestors, whoever you believe is on the other side of the veil, cheering you on, they have your six. They are protecting you with every ounce of their energy they can muster to do so. You are protected and you are supported in your endeavors to pick yourself back up and charge forward. And the Ten of Potions also has a Jack-o'-lantern on it. Of course, this is the Nightmare Before Christmas deck, but I don't think that's just coincidence. Find it interesting too that the pincushion for the Ten of Needles looks like a pumpkin as well. I think pumpkins are going to be significant for you. I think the number 10, and more so the number 1, I think you should look into these things and the meanings of these symbols and pay attention when they pop up over the next few weeks, because when they pop up, there's something important that's trying to be shown to you that you need to heed. But things are going to turn around for you very, very soon, Aries. Taurus, you have drawn the inverted Page of Potions, the Four of Needles, the Emperor, the Ten of Candles, the inverted Nine of Needles, and your oracle card is Midnight. Taurus is trying to hide from a responsibility or a decision. You don't like what needs to happen next. Either you don't like what has to be done, you don't like that you are the one that needs to do it, you're scared perhaps of some new role that you are stepping into or some aspect of this role, but you're trying to hide from real life. And I think it's important as we step into the new year that you recognize the difference between necessary rest to refill your energy, refill your own cup, make sure that you are healthy and well, and simply choosing not to do, procrastinating, hiding, escaping. You, Taurus, are guilty of the latter lately. The inverted Page of Potions is this escapism. It's this lack of responsibility, it's a childishness and immaturity. The Four of Needles indicates rest that is needed. Perhaps you are using it as an excuse. You needed to take a break. You needed to let yourself rest in between projects, in between paths. You're using this necessary rest as an excuse to not pick yourself up and keep going again. The Emperor is who you're supposed to be right now. Someone responsible, a leader, disciplined. And the Nine of Needles shows me your fear, your hesitation. I think perhaps the rest that you're claiming to need so that you don't have to do things hasn't actually been as restful as it was supposed to be, because you know that you're avoiding things and it's not sitting well. You're anxious, you're afraid, you're probably not sleeping well. This break is not being a break. This break is being you recognizing something is wrong and choosing not to address it and not to confront it and letting it continue circle and circle in your head. Don't let yourself keep falling into this self-destructive spiral. You are capable of doing what has been placed on your shoulders. You don't have to like it, but you do need to recognize and accept that it needs to be done and that you are the one to do it. You are fully capable of this. Taurus is the bull. Bulls are strong. They are sturdy. They're not easy to stop. You shouldn't be either. The Midnight card serves to remind you that the night is at least halfway over. You are further now than you were yesterday, a week ago. Every step you take brings you closer to the end than to the beginning, now more so than before. It also reminds you that, well, yes, you are human, and humans have flaws, they have darknesses, they have weaknesses. You should not hide from those parts of yourself. You need to accept all aspects of yourself and find the ways in which these flaws can actually perhaps serve you for the better, or how you can adapt around them. You are capable of so much. You have the Ten of Candles. It is accomplishment, but it is also responsibility. This accomplishment only comes when you accept your responsibility in getting there. Pay attention for the number 4, because it has popped up a couple of times here as it crops up in your life in the coming days and weeks, and start being honest with yourself. Take your responsibility. Be the adult you need to be, rather than continuing to try to escape from it. Gemini, your Yule reading consists of the Knight of Presents, the inverted Nine of Presents, the inverted King of Needles, the Eight of Presents, and Scrying is your oracle card. This is very career-oriented, money-oriented, resource-oriented. It has to do with your security, your tangible, investable resources, as I like to say. The Knight of Presents is hard work, dedication, routine. You've been working hard and working consistently toward a goal, and that work is showing, that dedication is showing. But I think you're starting to falter a little bit. The Nine of Presents inverted signals setbacks and mistakes. You've messed up a few times, you've been delayed for whatever reason. Either you've just not quite hit some things in the time that you wanted to, or things outside your control meant you had to stop or slow down, whatever it might be. And I think you are being overly critical of yourself for not being where you wanted to be by now. In spite of how much work you've already put in and how far you've already gone, it isn't enough to you, somewhere in your head. When in fact you have achieved a lot that you should be proud of. Don't let all of the tiny little mistakes or things that didn't quite work the way that you envisioned stop you from seeing that you have still come a very long way and are getting so close to the end. Don't let it stop you from continuing to work and see this to its end. You're not quite done yet. You've got more work to do. But be proud of the progress you have made. The scrying card is the card of intuition, and it signals that you need to listen to your intuition more, rather than the overly critical and overthinking logic in your head that tries to persuade you that some answers are not what you initially thought they were, that looks for answers where there are none. You need to find a balance between the intuition, that inner voice that's trying to help, the logic that's trying to keep you grounded, and the emotions that are trying to keep you warm. It is a balance of the three that allows us to be at our best in terms of wisdom and navigating this crazy world and life that we're going through. Follow that intuition, keep working, and be more kind to yourself. Bear with me if I sound stuffy or have to clear my throat a bunch. I've come down with a slight head cold. I am working through it. I'm drinking plenty of tea, plenty of water, but bear with me. Cancer, you have drawn for Yule the inverted King of Potions, the 10 of Needles, the inverted 4 of Potions, the inverted 10 of Potions, and your oracle cards are Jack-o'-lantern and Skull of Light. The inverted King of Potions points to manipulation, cruelty. It's basically, it's all of the good qualities of the King of Potions, the King of Cups, flipped on their head. So instead of being compassionate and heartfelt, you're moody, you're manipulative. The moodiness more so is what's happening here, but I'm sensing like some pettiness kind of brewing in you right now, and I think it has a lot to do with this 10 of Needles. The 10 of Needles, the 10 of Swords, is betrayal and it's defeat. You have had a major loss in some way, or in some form, someone in your life has not been telling the truth, and their deception and the ways in which they were actually going behind your back and making things harder for you have finally come to light. And so now you're reeling from and having to deal with this revelation and what you're going to do about this person, about what they've done, what they've said, and how you're going to move forward. And I think because it has hit you so hard, you are struggling with that. How do I move forward with this? There's almost a conflict in your head of, do I get bitter and super petty and just treat this person like you know, the dirt under my shoe? Do I be the bigger person, accept what happened and cut ties and just move on? Or do I try to make amends and hope that this person won't hurt me again and keep them in my life? That sort of debacle that's happening in your head. The 4 of Potions being inverted does point to some aloofness. You're almost numb right now. I think you're in this, because there's the whole 5 stages of grief, right? Whenever something bad happens. And one thing that people don't realize is that those stages of grief don't necessarily have to happen linearly based on how they're typically listed. Usually stage 1 is denial, but that can happen after the anger, which can then happen, you know, after the bargaining. But point being, I think this inverted 4 of Potions is a little bit you trying to ignore it. The inverted 10 of Potions as well tells me that there's something unresolved. There's a broken relationship here. This is between you and someone else. And whether you like it or not, a conversation I think needs to happen with this person, especially if you have not done so already, to lay out exactly all the ways that this person hurt you and why you feel the way you feel. And then you need to shut yourself up and let them speak and listen to everything they say and take it all in stride. And based on what you say versus what they say, you need to look at, are they actually listening to me? Are they deflecting? Are they open and listening and accepting, yeah, I hurt you and I'm sorry and I don't want to do it again? And they're, you know, saying all of the right things, quote unquote. They want to make amends. They want to do something to make it up to you. They want to work with you to stay in your life and keep you in their life, and, you know, really work to not treat you like that ever again. Are they deflecting and saying, well, I'm sorry you feel that way, instead of, I'm sorry I did this to you, or I'm sorry I made you feel this way? There's a difference, you know. Well, if you hadn't done this, then I wouldn't have. No. There's a great video that I'll actually link below for ways in conversation to test if someone is narcissistic or acting narcissistically. You, Cancer, and I think this happens with a lot of the water signs, being emotionally driven can tend to feed off of and feed into the emotions of other people. And I think that in turn can lend at times
to being targeted by manipulative and narcissistic people. I will link the video in question below. Give it a watch if it sounds like something that might be useful for this situation. That's not necessarily to say that this person is a narcissist. If they are continuing to double down on looking at this selfishly instead of taking into account how you have been hurt by what they did or said, therein comes the decision of, do I keep this person around and hope that they will do better? Or do I cut them off because I don't have faith they will change? With that though, you have the Jack-o'-lantern card, which, as mentioned in a previous reading, is a card of protection. Your guides, your ancestors, whatever higher power you believe in or worship, if there is one at all, has your back, whatever you decide. They are protecting you, and they are gonna help to pave the way of this path to whatever is best for you. They are going to work with you to try to show you what the best decision is so that you are less likely to be hurt again. The Skull of Light is the card of illumination. As much as it hurts, you need to sit in the light of what has come to your recognition, what has been revealed to you. You need to face it head on. You need to accept that this is what happened. It's uncomfortable and it sucks, but now that I know, I can address it and I can make whatever decision means I stop being hurt by this other person, whatever that entails. You should look into meanings and symbolism behind pumpkins or jack-o'-lanterns, because like another reading, you have had the jack-o'-lantern card, the jack-o'-lantern on the 10 of potions, and the pumpkin-shaped pincushion on the 10 of needles. It's literally the exact same spread of those 3 cards as one of the other readings. You may want to look into the number 10, though it's only shown up twice. Normally I look for something to pop up 3 times. Really, really sit and think about whether or not this person is worth keeping around, and have that conversation as much as it might hurt. And I wish you the best of luck in making the decision that establishes and defends your boundaries. Leo, you have drawn the Ace of Needles, the Chariot, the inverted Queen of Candles, the inverted Four of Presents, inverted Temperance, Knight of Candles, and the Skull of Light. A couple of major arcana, candles showing up a couple of times, 3 out of the 4 minor. This is fairly well encompassing of various aspects of your life. The Ace of Needles, being your bottom card, is a breakthrough. Mental clarity. You've had that sort of mental reset that is necessary to be able to pave the way for whatever is next to come. The Chariot and the Knight of Candles both indicate rapid movement, action, control, good established control over your path and the direction that you're going to turn each way. You are the driver and you have established this, and that's great. The inverted Queen of Candles warns, honestly, the inverted Queen of Candles and the inverted Four of Presents both warn against you being too selfish. Don't be so focused on the goal ahead that you've got blinders on to how your words or actions may affect other people. Make sure you're not so gung-ho to reach this goal that you're trying to shove yourself in front of everybody else who's waiting in line for something that might be happening. The whole world does not revolve around you. It's great that you are set on this path and you are ready to go and you just want to go. But make sure that you are balanced as well. Inverted Temperance. Things being out of balance. It's excess. Don't be so focused on work that you don't take care of yourself. Don't be so hesitant to get work done. You just laze about and procrastinate everything. You need to establish serious balance of all aspects of your life and all of the aspects of this project as well, if it's one of those things where there's a bunch of different pieces. I know this is perhaps unlike a fire sign to do, but you might need to draw on some of your earth energy somewhere in your chart. Sit down, write out the plan for all of the steps that need to be followed, or at least all of those small milestones that need to be accomplished in order for this goal to actually happen and this project to work. And make sure that in spite of moving quickly, as the Chariot indicates you're probably going to be doing, that you're still taking all of the consequences and all of the obstacles that may come up into consideration as you make various decisions and steps forward toward this goal. Knight of Candles, though, does want you not to be afraid of those obstacles and those consequences. Be aware of them, don't be afraid of them, don't let them stop you, treat this as an adventure and have fun with it. The Skull of Light, like the previous reading for Cancer, says that things are being shown to you or are about to be shown to you that are going to help. You need to be open and vigilant for these revelations. You need to sit and really take it into consideration and really sit with this information to make sure that you are applying it as is necessary to completing this goal. But yeah, you're on the right track. There's just a couple of tendencies you need to be aware of. And again, that's mostly just tied to this idea of having these blinders up. Don't be overly demanding. Don't be constantly jealous of other people and constantly trying to one-up other people. You're not keeping up with the Joneses. You're keeping up with yourself. Don't be so focused on your goal that you aren't spending resources where they need to be spent. Money, time, energy. Don't be so stingy with your time that you're refusing to hang out with other people for the sake of getting this goal done, etc., etc., etc. I think you get the point, yeah? Virgo, you have drawn for Yule the Hanged Man, the Ace of Potions, the Devil, the Six of Potions, the Three of Presents, Ace of Needles, and the Lamp as your oracle card. So as the bottom card of the deck, the Hanged Man typically refers to sacrifice, martyrdom. Sometimes it can refer to perspective. It also refers to release. The release is perhaps what is being referenced here when looking at the other cards. Something in your life, some feelings or regrets from the past, some anxiety or worry is going to be released. You're either going to come to realize you need to let go of it, or you've already realized and you're in the process of letting go and adjusting to not letting it weigh you down. The Ace of Potions shows a new relationship or new love, a fresh start emotionally in some way. The Ace of Needles likewise is a fresh mental start. It's a breakthrough, it's clarity. And I think perhaps these three middle cards are what it is that's being let go of in order for these aces to take hold. The Devil is a card of addiction or excess. It's dependency. I described it in one of the previous readings in this video as obsession. I think you became overly obsessed with or addicted to or dependent on something. I think that is what's being let go of. The Six of Potions is beneficial. It's a card of nostalgia, of happy memories, of reunion. Perhaps someone is coming back into your life who you haven't seen in quite some time, and in talking with this person and hanging out with this person, you're getting back in touch with things you thought you lost, or you're coming to recognize why you walked away. Even though you might miss aspects of it, you recognize it was important that you walked away, that whatever it was from your past was let go of and moved away from. And anything that you're still holding on to from that time now needs to also be let go of so you can be fresh and clean and move forward even later. I'm thinking, however, that the Devil is the thing being released. Whatever obsession, addiction, dependency. The Six of Potions. I think these happy memories, this nostalgia, this reunion with someone from your past, as well as the Three of Presents. It is teamwork. It's collaboration. It's remembering that you don't have to deal with everything alone. You have people you can reach out to ask for help. And more so, you probably have people who are offering you help. You need only accept it. Remembering how many people you have in your corner to help you with whatever comes along with the emotional and mental clarity and reset that you don't need this weighing you down anymore. It's the release, it's the reset, it's the refreshed perspective the Hanged Man is embodying. You are getting this reset. You're letting go, you're accepting what happened, you're learning the lessons, and you're moving on, and that's amazing, Virgo. The Lamp tells me a bit more about what perhaps has been lingering in your head. The Lamp is a card of remembrance. It typically comes up in reference to loved ones who are no longer with us. This can be the more final version. This could be referring to someone in your life who has passed away, who at this time of Yule, Christmas, New Year, you're suddenly being hit every so often with the realization that you could no longer spend these what are supposed to be happy holidays with this person. They've gone beyond the veil, and while they may be reaching out at times, giving you signs to let you know that everything is okay and you're gonna be just fine even though you don't physically have them there, it's still not the same. One of the reasons that seasonal affective is so prominent in this time of year is because all of these holidays are stacked one on top of the other, and you're supposed to be happy, but how can you be happy if this person's gone? Rather than letting yourself get caught in a cycle of mourning what you no longer have, focus on the happy memories and the time that you did have with this person. Celebrate the life that was, rather than constantly mourning the loss of it. That doesn't mean you should never feel sad. When you do have moments of grief, of remembering they're no longer there, take a moment to let it happen and recognize that, yeah, this person's gone and it really sucks, but I've made it this far without them and I can keep going. And I know that somewhere on the other side, they're cheering me on to keep going anyway. It's not necessarily such a final meaning. This could just be referring to a friendship or a past relationship that has broken off. Perhaps you recently cut ties with someone who was a very long time friend. Maybe you had to make the decision to walk away from toxic family. Or perhaps you've had a breakup with a significant other who you thought for sure was going to be here this time this year, but unfortunately it wasn't to pass. Whatever the case, all loss hurts. Remember and celebrate what was, what you had in the time that it was, and let that outweigh the grief and the sorrow of the loss. And know that in learning to accept and let go, while celebrating all of the joy and happy memories that you still can hold on to, it is in finding that balance and learning and accepting it that you can release all that weighs you down and be fresh and renewed to move forward into the new year. Libra, your Yule reading consists of Strength, inverted Two of Candles, Wheel of Fortune, Knight of Candles, Two of Needles in reverse, and your oracle is the Skull of Flowers. Libra, I can see that something has not quite gone the way you intended or envisioned, and it's shaken you a little bit. I'm not sure what it is or what this pertains to. That is shrouded to me. But the Skull of Flowers, as with a previous reading where it popped up, and I've described this card before in previous videos as well, is essentially a phoenix card. It is picking yourself up, dusting yourself off, and rising from the ashes to not only begin again, but be stronger and better for having survived what you went through. Finding that there's still something to work with and creating something even better from what's left after the dust settles. Wheel of Fortune, similarly, tells you that your luck is changing for the better and reminds you that the wheel is always turning, so if you've been in a bout of bad luck, it's about to improve again. But remember that eventually it will turn the other way again, so you need only be prepared to navigate that when it happens. Your bottom card is Strength. You are reminded of your own strength and resilience. Whatever this is you've been through, you survived, and that's great. And there's nowhere to go but up. We don't quite have the rock bottom card, but I don't think we need it. I don't think it was something super serious, because if it was, we would have some sort of a card that indicates it. But you are strong for having gotten through what you've been through, and you will come back better. The the inverted Two of Candles is a card of disorganization or lack of planning, and it is perhaps why whatever went wrong went wrong. Many things can work out fairly well by simply winging it and flying by the seat of your pants, but many things are not conducive to it. It is often better to have some semblance of a plan than none at all. It's important as well to be able to adapt when things go off script, but better to have the script in the first place so that maybe you've got contingencies for things that could go wrong, but it's important to have a plan and have some level of organization. The Knight of Candles is a card of fearlessness, action, adventure. I do think as you recognize your strength and you pick yourself up and see that the wheel is turning the right way again for yourself, you're going to be able to start moving, and quickly. All that's left for you to do is not be afraid of what lies ahead, and as with the previous readings who've all pulled the Knight of Candles, treat what lies ahead and the next steps as an adventure. However mundane it might seem to you now, life is what we make of it, so why not make it some grand adventure? Pretend you're setting out on some quest in D&D. The inverted Two of Needles does indicate some sort of decision. Oftentimes this is a lesser of two evils sort of situation where there is no one correct answer, and neither one is necessarily a good answer, so you simply have to pick the one that's going to cause less harm. But I'm not quite getting that from the rest of this. I think more so it's just a decision where there is no single correct answer. It's a 6 one, half dozen the other kind of thing. No answer is necessarily bad. None is particularly better than the other either, though. And I think you just need to navigate any confusion that you might have around this decision as far as that is entailed. I am getting a lot of fire energy in this, so it's something to do with creative pursuits, passion, spirit, something of that nature. With the Two of Candles, the Knight of Candles, and the Skull of Flowers being that Phoenix energy. So I think perhaps your focus is remembering that you are strong and resilient for having been through what you've been through. That whatever went wrong is not the end of things. Things are gonna keep going and keep moving. Know that your luck is turning for the better. So now is the time to refocus and make a plan for what's left ahead of you on whatever goal you're working toward, and have fun with the adventure toward that goal. Scorpio, your reading has the inverted Seven of Potions as the bottom card, the Wheel of Fortune, Knight of Candles, Temperance in reverse, and your Oracle card is Dawn. Scorpio, similar to Libra, has been through, well, similar to a couple of them, has been through something a little bit rough. You've been down on your luck, things not going quite well. And because of this we do have the inverted Seven of Potions, which is temptation, diversion, or confusion. That combined with the inverted Temperance card, which is excess. It's lack of balance. Because of whatever occurred, because of the run of bad luck, you were losing sense of yourself, of your goal, of the ways to keep getting there, and you kind of strayed off of your own path a little bit. And now you're confused, you don't know how to reset and get yourself back on the right track. Your luck, like the other readings that have pulled it, the Wheel of Fortune, your luck is turning for the better. Things are going to clear up. You need to take some time to reset and rebalance and make sure that you're handling all aspects of your life, taking care of yourself in moderation, in as balanced of a way as possible. The Dawn card, like I said, and I think the very first reading of the video, does remind you there's a light at the end of the tunnel. There's a dawn after the night, there's a spring after the winter. All of these things are guaranteed, long as it may take to get there. Give it a little bit of time, and the clarity you need to reset, to make whatever choices lie ahead of you will come to you. You might even reach out to your guides, whatever higher power you might pray to or believe in, your ancestors and spirit guides, and ask them for help. Show me the way that I might make the best decisions, not only for myself, but for my family. Something along those lines, you know? The Knight of Candles has been a common face here in this video. He is a card of fearlessness, action, adventure. Whatever you've been through has passed. You got through it. You're still here. Have no fear as you continue forward. Things are gonna move fairly quickly. Once they start picking up the pace, that pace is gonna be fast. So be ready for it. But as I've said with all the other readings that he's popped up in, treat it like an adventure. Have fun with it. Even if it's just getting yourself out of bed and going to your 9 to 5 every day to hold you over until more exciting things come along. Even that can be made exciting if you know how to think about it and what to do. But just give it a little time and the clarity will come. And last but not least, we have Sagittarius, who has drawn Ace of Presents inverted, King of Potions, the inverted World, Knight of Candles in reverse, and the Oracle card, Invisibility. Sagittarius, you are the one sign that has pulled Knight of Candles who has pulled it in reverse, which I find interesting. The inverted Ace of Presents, being your bottom card, your main card, indicates an opportunity that I think is about to be lost. I don't think it's quite passed you by yet. And I think the rest of this pertains to either how you can make the decision to take it, or how you're going to deal with the ramifications of losing it if it does pass you by. The King of Potions, first off, is compassion, self-control, and wisdom. One of the counsels of it is that there are solutions both my head and my heart can agree on. And in that vein, think about this opportunity and decide, does it seem too good to be true? Because if it does, it likely is, and so it is wise, perhaps, to let it pass you by. But if it doesn't, then perhaps you should take it. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. Inverted World indicates something being left unfinished, or a lack of closure in some area, and I think perhaps missing this opportunity is going to be what causes it, or you are weighing that if you take this opportunity, something else is going to be left unfinished. And I think you need to weigh these two against each other. What's more important? Finishing this and letting this pass you on and hoping for something else in the future, or taking this opportunity while it's here in front of you and not getting the chance to finish this until later, if you ever do. Really gonna have to think about that, and I think that's why the inverted Knight of Candles is here. It's warning you against being too impulsive in your decision. This is not a decision to be made lightly. This is not something to be made recklessly. Don't just pick one and call it a day. You need to be aware of the ramifications of this choice. This is what you need to weigh against each other. This opportunity versus whatever you've already been working on, because I think you're going to have to choose one or the other. The Invisibility card is some of your counsel here on how to decide. It's a card about authenticity, being as true to yourself as you can be. So in considering whether to take this opportunity, you need to consider, as part of deciding what's more important, the opportunity or the unfinished business, you need to pick whichever one is going to let you shine brightest. It's the Invisibility card, the whole concept of authenticity. It's reminding you that it is better not to hide your talent or your skill away from the world. One of these two is going to help you shine your light the brightest it can. And in thinking over this choice, I think you will find that one is going to have the better opportunity for you to really shine and really do the most with what you're capable of. And I think that is ultimately the decision that needs to be made. Take your time, think it over, and make the choice that is truest to your best self. And there we have our 12 zodiac horoscopes for the season of Yule for 2024, moving into 2025. I hope you have found any guidance or advice for how to wrap up the year and start the new one within at least one of the readings here in this video. I wish you all of the best tidings and light and renewal for the season of Yule. May your hearth be ever warm, and may you spend this holiday season surrounded only by those who love you and care for you as strongly as you love and care for them. Thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you've enjoyed the video. If you did, I presume you know where all the buttons and links are to show me that love, but since it is Yule, it is the new year, I'll go ahead and give my annual reminder. You should like this video, leave a comment below letting me know what you thought of any of the readings, which one resonated best with you, or what your favorite traditions for Yule are. Subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already, and ring that notification bell so you never miss a video. And consider sharing this video as well. Post it to Facebook or wherever else you prefer social media wise to share it with anybody else who you think would enjoy it or could use one of the readings. If you'd like to see more of my divinatory content, you can find my divination playlist linked in the cards and in the description, where you can also find my Linktree portal if you'd like to keep up with my adventures on other social media planes. As always, I would like to give the hugest warm Christmas thanks to my Coven of Patrons who continue to be my biggest supporters. And if you, dear viewer, would like to join their ranks for the new year, check that Linktree portal again for my Patreon, which begins at $1 per month. If nothing else, you could call it a Christmas or a Yuletide or a birthday present to me. Thanks again, stay tuned for more Ren Fair vlogs, more symbol build footage, more gaming VODs as I'm able to get them edited, and I will see you all again very, very soon. Keep aiming, my loves, and blessed Yule. Mwah! Bye, y'all.